The following feature presentation is part of the Skywalking Network.
This is what you can look forward to on episode 426 of Skywalking Through Neverland.
Comic-Con 2023, check!
Earlier this week, she wasn't sure that this show could go on because of the SAG-AFTRA strikes. Friday was the big Star Wars day at Comic-Con.
Wait a minute, there was a Hall H this year?
I know, right? And it is called Subspace Rhapsody.
What was the most common cosplaying outfit? Ready, 1, 2, 3.
Are you ready?
Off to Neverland!
Here we go!
A long time ago, in a galaxy far, far away.
To all who come to this happy place, welcome. Disneyland is your land.
When I first made Star Wars, everybody in Hollywood said, well, this is a movie Disney should have made.
You're more than just fans. You're family.
Best day ever!
Secrets loud.
It's about family, and that's what's so powerful about it.
Hey.
When you use a bird to write with, it's called tweeting.
When we visit the world of Disney, we never grow old. It's a Peter Pan, Never Land that keeps us young in heart.
This is Jedi Master Obi-Wan Kenobi, and you are skywalking through Neverland. I have a good feeling about this.
Hey, Skywalkers!
We're punchy.
Comic-Con 2023, check! We just
That's what those
got
notes mean.
Back, yes. And we are excited to share our experiences. But first, before we go into all that, we have to welcome you all back to Skywalking Through Neverland. I am Richard Woloski, and once again, like Sarah said, we are very punchy because we've had no sleep, and it's really hot here in Los Angeles. But let me give you a proper welcome. Here is my sweetie wife, the comically sweetie wife, Sarah. I don't know.
Thank you.
Wow, that was a bust.
I love,
Comically.
Some days you do pull out really good ones. So
Today's not the day.
Today's
not the day.
Well, guess what, Skywalkers? We are your tired podcast destination, but still enthusiastic.
Very enthusiastic. We can be tired, we can be sunburned, we can be sweaty, but we're always enthusiastic and maybe a little chaotic.
Yes, and it's for the many decades of your Star Wars, Disney, and Marvel fandom. We cover fandom. We love our fandom, and we always have. So imagine a big Wookiee hug from us and a little sprinkle of pixie dust for our family of Skywalkers.
Now, we are being sponsored by Small World Vacations, and they are a diamond-level Disney vacation planner travel agency and can help you book your trip to a Disney park around the world. And best of all, this service is free. Free of charge. So head over there to smallworldvacations.com for a no-obligation price quote and tell them Skywalking Through Neverland sent you.
Now, in this episode, we will share our experience at San Diego Comic-Con 2023, which overall was a huge success. We met with Skywalkers, we interviewed Indiana Jones and the Dial of Destiny artists, we held our big Star Wars trivia bash, and so much more. And later, we're going to tell you how you can win 2 exclusive Star Wars Outlaws posters.
Now, we are recording this from Long Beach, California on July the 25th, 2023.
So, Richard, what happened today in Star Wars history?
Well, this rolls right into a Comic-Con theme because on this day, July 25th, 2007, that is 16 years ago, to honor Katie Johnson, the daughter of 501st Legion founder Albin Johnson, Hasbro releases a limited edition R2-KT action figure available at San Diego Comic-Con International and StarWarsShop.com for only $9.99.
Wow.
Now, if you recall, little Katie passed away from brain cancer in 2005, and As part of the official canon, the pink astromech droid can be seen in the Clone Wars animated series. She pops up at the very end of The Force Awakens. She's a playable character in LEGO Star Wars The Force Awakens video game. And Hasbro and Lucasfilm helped to make more wishes come true for children like Katie by donating $100,000 in her memory to the Make-A-Wish Foundation of South Carolina and San Diego.
Wow.
So kudos to you, Lucasfilm and Hasbro, for doing that. And the R2KT action figure, that made a lot of money itself. I remember the line being so long. I got one.
Yeah,
yes, I do.
like,
yes,
yeah.
I do. And the
Yeah.
line being so long, not just for the action figure, but just to support the cause. All right, with that, now let's share our adventures at San Diego Comic-Con.
We got down there in time on Thursday of San Diego Comic-Con to attend the HerUniverse fashion show. Or at least I did that. And Richard, you did other things. So
Yeah.
which one should we cover first?
Well, let's start off by it's always good when you can go from a job. Like we had a job right in the beginning of the day in Laguna Niguel.
Yes.
Which is very close to Oceanside where we stayed. From there, we dumped off all of our stuff and ran down there to San Diego, and our good friend Brian Sims said, "This is what you got to do," and he gave us the most awesome concept for a parking idea.
Yes.
You park at this free lot, which is like what, a couple of maybe.
It's like 5 miles north.
30 minutes from the parking lot to the convention center, and this free bus comes and takes you there.
A charter bus with air conditioning.
Yeah.
If you have a Comic-Con badge, the free bus takes you.
Yeah, so we started off our Comic-Con experience very well.
Yeah, thank you, Brian.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, now from there, you wanted to go to the HerUniverse fashion show. I really, really, really was excited to see the live Sesame Street and Muppet panel, and I got there, I found the room finally, only to see a big canceled.
Oh.
The panel was canceled, and I realized, oh, wait a minute. Why didn't I remember this? Why didn't I think about this? They're all SAG puppeteers.
Right.
So, of course, it's going to be canceled, but with all the rush getting down there and leading up to there, my head just wasn't right there. And I asked them, when did this cancel? About 48 hours ago. It's like, oh, man. But I was really excited to see this. They had live Muppets. I love seeing live Muppets.
Yeah.
All right, I did something else, but first, let's go back to you. What you did at what you did for the HerUniverse fashion show.
Yes. So luckily we were invited as press. So thank you, HerUniverse, so much for that. And I was able to go, and we got to see some amazing geek couture. But I want to mention, everyone always looks for this because Ashley Eckstein always has some fabulous geek couture dress of her own. And so she did come out in an amazing dress. I'm getting it ready here behind the scenes as we speak. So there she is. She comes out in this black dress, and around it is draped these LED panels in a film strip, like kind of draping all around her, back to front and around again. And the panels are moving. There is Disney films playing on these panels. And so it's like LED screens. They were showcasing Disney films. They were celebrating the 100th anniversary of Disney. And according to Ashley's Instagram, it included 15 flexible OLED screens, 25 pounds of equipment, one Disney Imagineer, Daniel Joseph, one Disney producer-director, John Gleim, and one dress designer, Andrew McLean, who has designed like all of her dresses for the HerUniverse fashion show.
Wow. I wasn't there, so this is the first time I'm hearing about all this?
Yeah.
Wow, those images are moving?
They were the films. They were the film strips. And then later on in a break, so like they showcase 5 or 10 designers, and then there's a break where they give away something or they come out again in different outfits. Well, this time Ashley never changed, but the LED screens changed. So the second time she came out after we had seen a bank of fashion, it was Star Wars themed. So the 5 members of the 501st came out, and she had all Star Wars playing on those LED screens. What? And then later on, it was Marvel themed. So she came out and all Marvel stuff was on those LED screens. So it was a really cool way for her to stay in the same outfit because previous fashion shows, she's changed like 5 times.
Yeah.
And that can take a toll on you. So instead, the Disney producer and like, I'm sure John Gleam in the background was like making sure the LED screens were running the right things.
And you say that this equipment weighs 25 pounds?
Yeah. According to Ashley Eckstein's
Now, she only weighs 25 pounds.
I know. Yeah.
Oh my goodness.
Wow. So
that is amazing.
It was really cool. So also I wanted to mention that this whole thing was co-hosted. She had a co-host, Michael James Scott, and he is the genie on Aladdin on Broadway. He is a queen. He was so much fun. Like, he was like, he had an Aladdin inspired outfit, and it was amazing. Also designed by Andrew McLean. And honestly, he kind of stole the show from Ashley with his personality. He'd break out into song.
Well, come on, he's the genie.
Yeah. So she was more the straight man, and he was kind of popping off, like adding life and stuff to the whole show. It was a really, really fun time.
Now, I did see a very small clip where Ashley did come out and say, hey, we are abiding to all of the SAG and AFTRA rules.
Yes.
And there were a lot of waivers at Comic-Con. So only a small handful of actors were allowed to participate and represent struck work.
Yeah, and I have to say that at the end of the fashion show, there was a very emotional moment where we all were standing up and just clapping for Ashley. Because it was just like, it's because of her that all of us are there, right?
Of course.
And so we gave her a standing ovation, and she started breaking down to cry. And she admitted to us, she wasn't going to say it, but she said at the very earlier this week, she wasn't sure that this show could go on because of the SAG-AFTRA strikes. And she was very, very sad because, once again, HerUniverse fashion show showcases 25 designers, and not like amateur designers, like people who are hoping to work in fashion or just showcasing their geek couture, and it's all fans. You know what? Let's just play it.
And like I said at the top of the show, I just am so incredibly thankful to SAG-AFTRA. They were so helpful. Thing. We want to be in compliance with all the rules. We want to do the right thing. And they said, you know what? The show must go on. You are absolutely doing the right thing. Go do your show. And I want to thank our team at Hot Topic and HerUniverse. You know who you are. And our friends at Disney. Everyone just wanted to do the right thing here because we wanted to be here for you. And this is what this show is all about, for you. So thank you for coming tonight.
Well, let's go on to what I wanted to bring out a few of the designs that we had. One of them was called Westview Witch. And this was designed by Caitlin Beards. And she did a WandaVision outfit. So she came out, and her idea was to design a dress that's like kind of inspired by those original posters for WandaVision, where it has those lines, those TV lines.
TV scan lines.
Yeah, the TV scan lines that are kind of switching them from black and white to color. And so her outfit was marrying that kind of design with her turning into the Scarlet Witch in the Scarlet Witch outfit. So it was like she was turning from the TV witch into Scarlet Witch. And the lights went out during the presentation also, and really the black and white parts of her dress really shone through and looked like those lines. It was really neat.
How long was this fashion show?
This fashion show was about 3 hours, I would say. But there was breaks in between where they would come out, they would give away items from Disney. They gave away Captain Carter? Captain
Carter. There you go.
Captain Carter. But they gave away a bunch of things. They even gave away a stay at what's going to be the new Disney villas here in Disneyland.
Wow.
Yeah.
Well, didn't you get that necklace you're wearing right now?
Yes, they did give away a whole, like, gift bags on every seat, which I was shocked to find a piece of Rock Love jewelry in those. So I did get the Frozen necklace. Also, they gave away, in that box was a fig pin. So they were all kind of a crapshoot, but I happened to get Leia, which is awesome.
And then you got this for me.
Yes! A little pen holder.
Mickey Mouse pumpkin pen holder.
Yeah.
Oh, I love it.
And then each of them had this glow-in-the-dark Ahsoka pin, which is really cute.
Wow.
That's a really cool
And this
pin.
is the animated Ahsoka.
Yeah, but I was shocked. Like, these were, like, great gift bags. I was not expecting that. That was like, wow, okay. So they really, like, Disney put on this HerUniverse fashion show more, like, or they sponsored it. Whereas before, Disney has not been quite involved. So all of the designs had to be Disney-oriented this year, rather than just geek-oriented. All right, so let me go through some of the other designs that we saw, one of which was this design by Artemistic. She created a dress inspired by the Eye of Andor. So the cape depicted the scene where the team escapes through the eye with the TIE fighters following them. And so you can see it a little better here, where you see all the ties. See that?
Yeah.
And it says Hope right here on the side. Hope. It was really cool. That was the last one of the night. The last one who walked the runway.
Okay, so can you tell us who won?
Yes, neither of my favorites won.
What?
No, I know. But the winners were, so the judges' winner was this dress. This is Rachel Pedersen with Totally Mini. This is an 80s inspired fashion outfit that was inspired by a mini vinyl record that she loved as a kid. And I guess this is the judges' winner, which means, the judges can see how much construction and things go into the outfit and things like that. So they can really tell, like, the work that goes into it. And then the judges,
Audience?
And then the audience winner was Raven K, who did a Storm-inspired outfit, Mistress of the Elements, X-Men. She got major cheers when she walked down the runway, but I feel like honestly, like at other fashion show moments, there's been a moment where someone just really wowed the audience, and she didn't seem to wow the audience as much. I think they just liked her character, or she was just very famous online, like an online personality. So I'm not sure. Like, I'm not sure why.
It's a popularity vote.
It's a popularity vote, I feel, because there was a lot of people, like, screaming behind me who, like, knew her. And I did not. And like, there were other outfits I kind of liked better. So yes, I mean, this was a beautiful outfit, and kudos to all the designers for all the work they did. Like, both of these winners, they did a beautiful job depicting their characters in geek couture. And I mean, really, the construction of the audience winner's dress was really amazing. But in my experience, the audience winner has been someone who's really rocked the runway in terms of their, like, personality walking down the runway.
Now, is this going to be streamed or aired somewhere?
No, but I'm sure many people, we were all allowed to use our cameras, so you can see many things. On Instagram, I do have a post of a few of these, and I'll be posting more as we go along. I was like about 6 rows back, not too bad of a seat.
So if you want to see the whole thing, you got to piece together everyone's Instagram reels.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. But it was a really fun time, and I mean, not to be missed. It was amazing. Oh, and the winners, this year, more than any other year, they will design 2 collections. One for Hot Topic and one for Disney Parks, which is amazing. So kudos to those designers. Like, congratulations.
Wow. And I waited outside of a room for a panel that was canceled.
Yeah, I'm sorry. But you did get to go see what?
At 8 o'clock, I had to wait a couple of hours. So 8 o'clock, there was a horror trivia game show hosted by the Launchpad podcast. I'd never heard of these guys, but hey, you know what? Let's go in and find out. It was a fun trivia thing. the thing that really impressed me, the one element, is that they had the actor Roger something or other who voiced Scream.
Hello, Sydney.
In the movie Scream to read the questions.
That's so cool.
That's a good element.
Yeah.
So now I thought, okay, now I gotta go and get James Earl Jones to read our questions.
Okay, sounds good.
Okay, he or Anthony Daniels. I thought, you know what? I want to just go there to encourage other trivia game shows.
Yeah.
And really support other games at Comic-Con because there's a lot of panels, but I think in our future we can do a lot of game shows.
Yeah.
And that's what we're going to be doing. More on that in a little bit.
Before we move on to Friday, I want to give a shout out to our watchers right now. Hi, Adam O'Brien.
Hey, coming from the land down under.
Yeah.
So it is about, it's tomorrow at about, what, 8 a.m. there?
Yep. And then Meredith. Welcome, Meredith.
She gets a couple of hey-heys.
And Courtney.
Well, some more hey-heys.
Yay. So welcome, everybody. Thank you for watching.
Now, let's move on to Friday.
Friday was the big Star Wars day.
Yeah.
At Comic-Con.
Now, to get a complete idea of Star Wars Day, our friend Mike Celestino has a great podcast, Who's the Bosk. He recorded little bits of each of the Star Wars panels and plays little clips on his show. So if you want a full rundown of all the Star Wars shows, go over and see him at laughingplace.com. That's Who's the Bosk podcast.
Excellent.
Now, the ones that we had really seen, the panels, was the Star Wars past, present, and future
panel. Yes. And this featured Leilani Shui.
Yeah, our good friend.
Yeah.
Who gave us a lot of shout outs during the panel.
She did. It was so sweet. She's like, and Richard, right there. She's pointed at us.
Yeah.
So Leilani Shui plays the Jawa. Yeah,
she's been on our show.
Yes.
All right. Spencer Wilding, who played Darth Vader, one of the Darth Vaders in Rogue One. Julie Dolen, who was the voice of Princess Leia on Star Tours, The Adventures Continue.
She had a great story, too, which I recorded. I'll be sharing some of this on Instagram.
Yes, we'll be sharing these videos on Instagram and on YouTube.
Throughout the next couple weeks as we disseminate information.
So that was a fun panel. I'm still trying to wrap my head around the theme of the panel. But you have some Star Wars people up there, and let's just talk about Star Wars.
Well, they talked about kind of how they got into their jobs, basically, with Star Wars.
Yes.
Mostly.
Yes. So, but you know what? Our friends were up there, so we were there to support them.
Absolutely. And now we did host our Star Wars Trivia Challenge Strikes Back game night, which was the final show, the final panel of the day in Room 7AB, the Star Wars room.
And this was a big room.
Yes.
I think it held 285 people.
I would say at least that.
Well, according to the maximum capacity.
Oh, okay.
But I'm sure there are more people in there. It was a packed room. And that makes us feel so good because we put a lot of work into these panels and these game shows. And to see everyone out there, oh my goodness. It was like, I couldn't wrap my head around the enormous turnout.
Yes.
And some people said they were actually turned away.
Yes, they were, unfortunately. And the panel before us, too, hosted by
James Floyd from Star Warsologies,
who did an Andor-themed panel as well. Like, a lot of people were turned away from those, too. So, yeah, our advice for panels at Comic-Con, get there over 30 minutes in advance. Go into the panel before, because they don't kick you out. Yeah. So, and then once you're in the panel before, you can kind of move up before they let all the other people in.
Yeah.
And get a nice seat.
All right. Now, according to Mike Celestino on Who's the Boss podcast, who went through all of these Star Wars panels, he called our panel chaotic.
Oh.
And crazy. I'm sure he meant that in a good way. Because if you've seen our live shows, you know that we're running all over the place. We got a lot of elements, and I'm hoping that's what he meant.
Yeah.
Because to me, chaotic seems like out of control. And believe me, this show was not out of control.
No.
Even though sometimes it feels like it's out of control, it's in control. We produce these shows to the nth degree. So I'm going to assume that Mike meant chaotic in a good way.
Yes. Yes.
And we had, 10 categories, and I would say they're all very, very successful. We had a line of people, whoever came up to participate, be a contestant, to answer a question, they got a raffle for a prize. We gave away a lot of prizes.
Yeah.
And people afterwards said, wow, that was really fun.
And they learned a lot, especially the people who did not participate. They just watched. We're like, oh, which is our goal, honestly.
Mission accomplished. If we entertained people and if we gave them a fun time and they learned something, check and check. That's what our shows are all about. Yeah. The edutainment value. And even the next day, one of the security guards stopped us and said, hey, we were at your show last night.
Yeah.
And thank you very much. And his kids had a great time.
Yeah.
And I was always, but trivia is very hard because it could either appeal to the older crowd, the younger crowd. You never know what kind of crowd you're going to get. And our question's going to be too easy, too hard. So sometimes you got to have a plan A, B, and C ready to go. Mm-hmm. Because before I learned that lesson, some shows have failed miserably. Like other shows, not at Comic-Con or at a convention, but just trying things out. Because you never know how people are, what their knowledge is. And you don't want people to go, oh, this is too hard, I'm walking away. Or this is too easy, and walk away.
Right.
They didn't do that. But speaking of walking away, at the beginning, I turned around to look at the room. There was no one there. Most of the seats were empty.
Right.
And I realized
they were all lined up.
They were all lined up. They wanted to play.
They wanted to play
They
trivia.
wanted to play the game.
Yeah.
But for a couple of seconds, they're like, oh, where did everyone go? And I was kind of sad. Because what did we say? What happened?
No, it was really fun.
Yeah. All right. Now, on the heels of that, guess what? We were just accepted for the Star Wars Trivia Challenge Strikes Back game show at Long Beach Comic-Con. And this is going to happen September 2nd and September 3rd, where we have a table. We have a table there, and we're going to have a panel.
Nice.
So I hope everyone can make it. If you've been to this particular game show, don't worry about the same questions, because I've already highlighted what questions we ask. So it'll be a whole new game show. I would say maybe 38% of it will be new.
Nice.
So when I say all new, I mean all new in the 38%. Mike Celestino had recorded it, and we're going to put it up at some point in the near future.
Yes. We do want to thank our crew, Trisha Barr from Fangirls Going Rogue, BJ Priester, also from Fangirl Blog, Dave Scale, our ghost host, Mike Celestino, who recorded.
And the San Diego Comic-Con crew, Larry Fries, he was the soundboard operator. This guy was Johnny on the spot. Because remember when someone said, oh, I can't see the image on the screen. He ran over and adjusted the contrast and the brightness, and I can't hear this. And he's on the soundboard. One foot is on the soundboard. One hand is on the dimmer knob. So this guy was really, really instrumental, and I made sure to get his name so I could comment to the people at Comic-Con to say, hey, this guy deserves a commendation. Because he was Johnny on the spot. He was Larry on the spot. And also Allie Kaufman, who was one of the stage managers in the room. Whatever we needed, she was right on it. Mm-hmm. We needed an extra placard for Dave Scale. Okay. And she made a list. She made put it on her list. And then within 5 minutes, there you go. So these people were very, very good. And
they have a job and they know how to do it.
And I'm just not used to that anymore. Because most times you ask someone to do something, it's like, okay, I'll see if I can get that done. Or, yeah, maybe. So these people being so attentive, it was just very hard to really conceptualize, which is why I wanted to give them a big shout out, not only on the podcast here, but I wrote a letter to the people at Comic-Con who run the panels and say, hey, these two people here, give them an hour off.
Yeah,
they were really good, or take another week off or something.
Excellent job.
All right, then after that, we went to an after party.
Yes, we went to the virtual Cantina meetup across the street at the Omni Hotel, which was amazing. And we thank them so much for having a meetup so we could chill and not run a meetup ourselves.
Yeah. Jeff Caffrey from the virtual Cantina group put this together with Spencer. Mm-hmm. Spencer Jawitz and some other Cantina virtual Cantina members got to get together a little room at the Omni Hotel, and and said, hey, come on over.
At the bar.
Yeah, Chris Bartlett was there. He plays many characters on The Mandalorian and Star Wars shows.
Molly
Miller,
I believe.
A stunt woman who played little Leia.
Yeah.
Got her contact info. Melissa Miller from Star Warsologies was there. Leilani Shui.
James Floyd as well.
Was there. Yeah, it was really fun.
Yeah.
And I thank them for putting that together. And it was fun going over there because a lot of those people had been to our panel and said, hey, you guys are here, and we just saw your panel. We had a great time.
Yeah.
So it's the feedback. I love it. I don't need all the accolades, but I want the feedback.
Oh yeah.
So then you can tell what's working and what's not working, and what's good, and put all that work into it. You want to get some kind of acknowledgement.
Absolutely.
Even if it sucked, you can say, "Hey, that sucked." Like, okay, thank you. If that ever happens, well, we got a lot of rethinking to do. So far, that hasn't happened.
Yes.
All right, the next day.
Before we move on to that, we want to say hello there back to Nick Werner. Welcome,
hello there.
Welcome, Nick. All right, Saturday was our last day at San Diego Comic-Con because we had to go back to work on Sunday. So Saturday we had some really fun things lined up. Indiana Jones and the Dial of Destiny did a whole panel on Pre-Viz. And Pre-Viz, I know you guys probably know what that is.
It's like visualizing storyboards. Remember back in the past, you had to just draw out storyboards. And then I want to say this started really with Return of the Jedi. I could be very wrong about that, but it's the first movie I've ever seen use Pre-Viz.
Okay.
Yeah, but they use more like action figures.
Oh, funny.
For their moving storyboards. But now the Pre-Viz is a very, very low rendered visual effects idea. So they can play with it with the director. So instead of spending millions of dollars on an effect and go, nah, it doesn't work. They can do it very low end with the Pre-Viz.
Yeah. And so much so you can kind of weed out what you don't want and get exactly what you do want to shoot with the actual actors and on location.
Yeah, and these Pre-Viz supervisors, they were telling us, a lot of stuff was worked out with James Mangold, the director, during these Pre-Viz sessions.
Yeah.
So if you were there that day, the panel was called Fortune and Glory Visualizing Indiana Jones 5.
Yes, and the panel included 4 artists from Proof Inc. that worked on the pre-visualization for Indy 5. Mm-hmm. And that's its own studio that works on other all kinds of projects.
It's like Industrial Light and Magic, but for the Pre-Viz world.
Exactly. Yeah, they worked on Multiverse of Madness. They were showing some things from other films, like many films that we know.
I did Pre-Viz for a couple of days way back.
Oh, you didn't like it?
I just can't sit in front of a computer for that long.
Oh, yeah. So there were 4 artists that came to the panel. Clint Reagan worked closely with director James Mangold. Patrice Avery was head of production.
And the two of them, Stuart and Patrice, we got into a roundtable, the two of them.
Correct.
And that is on YouTube. Go to YouTube and check out our interview with them.
And then Stuart Allen was the Pre-Viz supervisor, and Dirk Westervelt was an editor on the film itself. And those two were also in their own roundtable with us as well. That is also on YouTube. So we attended this panel and then did those 2 roundtable interviews with these artists. But now I want to bring up, because in the roundtable interviews, they talked about different things than they did in the panel. So let's bring up something we learned from the panel.
All right, just how much they've worked with James Mangold. That was the one thing that they kind of touched on that in the panel, which made my ears perk up. It's like, oh, wait a minute, what is this? Because you would think that James Mangold would work with ILM, and ILM would tell Proof Inc., this is what we want, but it worked the other way around. So James Mangold worked with the Pre-Viz team, and they went to ILM to collaborate. And that was just something I didn't think they did on the Pre-Viz level. And talking to Dirk Westervelt, he was one of the editors, I really wanted to get inside his head and see what he did to play homage to Michael Kahn's editing. And Michael Kahn edited the first 4 Indiana Jones films. What did he say? Watch our video and find out. Those are on YouTube. We have two behind the scenes of Indiana Jones 5 videos. So what about you?
So yes, what I learned from the panel itself is we all know that Pre-Viz helps the director narrow down the shots he'll do with the actors and the stunts people. But We also learned from this panel that this Pre-Viz team in particular visualizes not only what's going to be in the shots, but the safety equipment and rigging needed to do the stunts on camera. And I was like, oh, and they even showed us. Now, we couldn't use photos or video in this panel. So anything they showed us, any footage, we weren't allowed to share. But they showed us some of these riggings, like very, very low res, like you said, renderings. However, you can really see what they did. Some of it, one thing that was burned into my brain was like, this rigging for Wanda in the Multiverse of Madness when she's high in the air about to, shoot fire down on the
Doctor Strange
people. Yeah, the Doctor Strange people, exactly. Like they had all this rigging like around her that was rendered. It was like, oh, that's interesting. And then another part of the Pre-Viz process I didn't even think about, because when I think Pre-Viz, I just think of, what are the boxes? What are those?
Storyboards.
Storyboards. That's all I think of. Well, it includes mapping. They actually used Google Maps to map out the path of the little tuk-tuks and the whole tuk-tuk race.
That's little golf carts.
Yeah, in Indy 5. So like the whole chase was mapped out on Google Maps, and then they mentioned that they had mapped it out in one city.
In India.
Thank you, in India.
And they had a big COVID breakout.
Yeah.
So guess what? All that work for nothing.
For nothing. They had to move to a different city, and they had to map out, find like similar turns and things.
Yeah, they had to move to Morocco and do the same work all over again.
But it was funny because they showed a screen of like Google Maps with like these little dots in different colors moving, representing the different tuk-tuks and the motorcycles and things that you see in the movie itself. So
yeah, very
neat.
Very educational, and everyone was wondering, wait a minute, how can Indiana Jones be at Comic-Con? Well, since these are effects people, they don't have to abide by any kind of strikes. And the way we see it, these people put a lot of years of work into this. So we not only want to bring their work to viewers, but we also want to really show them that we support them, because these visual effects people are gonna be out of work very, very soon. So we want to support them any way we can. And maybe if more Comic-Cons would, or anything, would hire them to talk about their visual effects work. I know right now it's all very gray. What can people do? What can't they do? It's all up in the air. But we really wanted to support them, these artists, and the movie.
And
Indiana Jones 5, yes.
And the work that has been done for that, yeah.
So from there...
Yeah.
There...
So I will put links in the show notes to the Roundtable interviews that we have on YouTube as well.
All right. Now, we had to run. Now, let me go. We only had 5 to 7 minutes with these effects people and the editor.
Yeah.
If you notice, our videos are 12 minutes.
Oh, were they only supposed to be 5 to 7 minutes?
Yes.
Oh, wow.
But when you're talking about in something in my wheelhouse.
Yeah.
I lose track of time.
It's hard to say goodbye.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Imagine for these one with Clint Reagan and Patrice Avery. They're like, I think we got to wrap it up. Hold on, I got 16 more questions.
Yeah, you even asked some questions after we had wrapped the cameras.
we saw them on the show floor. So, okay.
Yes.
Talk to me about Planet of the Apes. Because
that's right.
Patrice had worked on all the previous new Planet of the Apes films.
Yeah.
So got a little bit of insight.
Nice. All right, so
hold on. Corwin of Amber's here.
Oh, my goodness. So from there, from our roundtable interviews, we had to run to Hall H to catch the Star Trek Universe panel.
Wait a minute. There was a Hall H this year?
I know, right? But people were just walking in, actually. So, or there was a line, but people could... I heard from people before that they didn't have to line up overnight or 48 hours or whatever it was in advance for this. And Hall H panels are usually those crazy affairs, right? Where audiences wait that long. So we went to Hall H, the Star Trek panel, and I was excited to attend my first Star Trek panel. Star Trek fandom in full force now. Yay! It's so fun. And at this panel, I did expect to see maybe a creator or two, a producer to some of the current Star Trek shows. But the one person who came out, which was Variety film critic Scott Mantz, he remained the only person on stage the entire time.
But he knocked it out of the park.
He did a really good job. And he warned us right up the top that this is going to be a content-heavy panel. And absolutely it was. But he did explain his Star Trek fandom. Mm-hmm. And he did a good job. He kept the energy in the room up.
Yeah.
I have a full review of the panel and links to all the content that you can see right now that they released. So you can go to skywalkingthroughneverland.com for that. But I wanted to share just some of the most exciting things that we learned from that panel. I don't want to share everything because that's too much talking right now and my voice is getting tired.
Yeah, that's why you wrote it out in a blog.
Yes, I did. All right, so Strange New Worlds, which is the current Star Trek show which features Captain Pike and Spock younger than he is in the original series, it is getting a musical episode. The very first Star Trek musical episode of the entire Star Trek verse, right? And it is called Subspace Rhapsody. And that's going to air on Paramount Plus on August 3rd. So this will feature 10 original songs, and we saw a trailer. So Richard, what did you think of the trailer?
It was fun.
Yeah. It's a musical, right? You're not as into musicals as me, right?
No, not really. But
okay.
I don't want to say this is jumping the shark because it isn't. But I noticed that this show, Star Trek Strange New World, they take risks.
Yes.
And I got to admire a show that takes risks, not just do the same expected stuff. And even watching it with you were saying, like, yeah, this has never been done before. And this is something, because you have more of a Star Trek history than I do. And you'll point out all the new stuff and new ways of doing things in this new series. And, in this musical falls in line with the unexpected.
It does.
Expect the unexpected, and here you go. And even the episode that we saw an episode of Star Trek Strange New Worlds where they combine the Star Trek Strange New Worlds with Star Trek Lower Decks, which is an animated show. And I thought, how are they going to do that? Is it going to be like Roger Rabbit? We see live action and animation
together, right?
But no. Do you want to go into this? Because I was extremely impressed with what they did and how it came about, and the final product, a 10 plus.
Okay, before I do that, I want to bring up Corwin of Amber here. Don is saying that his first Star Trek con was in 1977, and that he expects that the Star Trek musical episode will have a corridor full of red shirts that will break into dance and slip on freshly waxed floors and die. Wow, Corwin. Well, that was not in the trailer we saw.
Someone's having a dark day.
Yes. Yeah, the highlight of the panel was that early viewing of the Star Trek crossover episode. So to bring it back to your question, I thought it was very interesting how they used this portal. Now, I am not not original trilogy.
Original
Star
Trek
series fan.
1966 series.
Right. I am not an original series fan, nor do I know all of the episodes. So I don't know if this portal that they show at the beginning of this crossover episodes is in there, is in that original series. But this is the portal they use to connect. It's basically a time travel portal that they use to connect the animated series to the this current series, the live action series.
So Star Trek Strange New World takes place right before the original William Shatner series.
Correct.
And Lower Decks takes place
in the future, like 200 years.
Okay.
Yeah, so 200 years from Strange New Worlds. So yeah, they're going back in time 200 years. And the Lower Decks, show is a tongue-in-cheek animated show that's geared toward adults, but it makes fun of the fact that all the Star Trek series are on the Enterprise ship, which is the major flagship of the Starfleet, right? Whereas Lower Decks, it's on It's on a ship that's like, what's it called? The Cerritos.
The USS Cerritos?
USS Cerritos.
And for those of us who live in Los Angeles, Cerritos is like right up the 605 freeway.
Yeah, and
we could be there in like 10 minutes.
And it's just this little nondescript city, right, in LA. It's like not a big deal. And that's kind of how this ship is in the Starfleet as well.
Now,
and they're the lower deck officers too. So they're not even the big officers on the bridge. They're just like lower decks people.
Imagine Titanic and those people shoveling coal.
Exactly.
In the furnace.
And so two of those animated characters then go through the portal and end up as live action in Strange New Worlds. And they use the voice actors who voice acts in Lower Decks onto Strange New Worlds. I'm starting not to make sense. I'm sorry.
You would think it would be hokey, but no, it's not whatsoever. And this aired, usually Strange New Worlds streamed on Thursdays?
Yes, Thursdays.
And this was released on Saturday.
Yeah, this episode was supposed to come out this coming Thursday, but they released it an hour after we had all seen it at the panel itself on Saturday. Which, I mean, they just wanted to make the news, I think. Like, hey, here it is. Here's a little gift from Paramount Plus. Okay. Which, honestly, it kind of lessened the fact that we were all there in Hall H, had, and seen this episode early, to know that it was only an hour early that we got to see it rather than 5 days. But I mean, if people had waited 48 hours to get into that panel, I'm sure they'd be a little like bummed, but yeah. Ooh, Corwin of Amber saying it is a great episode. So the point being, you can watch that episode right now on Paramount Plus. Now, as fans of Star Wars crossover characters like Bo-Katan and Fennec Shand, it was fun to see how Star Trek dealt with that same kind of issue, where these characters make their way from animation to live action or vice versa. I think it's fun that Star Trek kind of made a big deal about it, like made this whole crossover episode, which has been in the zeitgeist for the whole beginning of this season. Yeah.
Well, good. I not knowing anything about Star Trek really until you started showing me these episodes. Like, okay, I can understand these things now. And we watched some of the original series that ties in with these episodes.
Yeah. Actually, watching the original series with the episodes that tie in to Strange New Worlds, which is a series I really like now, really helps me get into the original series. So it's a great way to do that.
You showed me that one episode where Kirk has got to fight Spock.
Yes.
And those shows are really fun because you can tell if they pan the camera an inch to the left or right, you'd see where the wood sets end.
Yes.
You see like a grip on one side and craft service on the other side. They get such a very narrow set, and just the very slow paced editing and how everyone always turns to the camera when they say their line.
Yes.
They can be talking to someone in the back of the room, but when they say their line, they're gonna turn and face the camera and look off camera and say their lines.
Yes. And the music is very spare sometimes because they could only record a certain amount of music for like all these 26 or episodes or however many they had to do for one season. They could only record like 13 episodes worth of music, so they had to like reuse music and stuff.
Right, but then you get to like they're visiting a planet and you see like a matte shot.
Yes.
It's like, oh, you know what? That's for TV. That's pretty good.
Yeah.
That's very, very good. But I just love that kind of style of 1960s, 70s television where you can tell they're on a budget, and when they're walking across these metal floors, it sounds like they're walking on plywood. I just have a soft spot in my heart for that.
Well, we'll have to keep watching them
okay.
as we go.
Okay.
We'll have to watch the episode with the Gorn.
I think you showed me.
I showed you just the YouTube clip. You gotta watch the whole thing. Yeah.
Oh, that's funny. All right, back to Comic-Con.
Yes.
So, another highlight. Let's talk about the Lucasfilm Pavilion.
Yes. Okay, so when Star Wars Celebration London came around, the one thing I was very, 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 very jealous that everyone there got to see in live action in reality was this Star Wars Rebels mural that was actually there, that from the Star Wars Rebels series, with the painting that Sabine had painted of all the characters, Hera, Sabine,
Zeb Chopper, which now you can see in Ahsoka.
Right. And because they made it for Ahsoka, they have kept that and put it out at Star Wars Celebration to everyone to take pictures with. And I was like so sad that I was not there at Celebration because of that. But it was here at the Lucasfilm Pavilion.
Yeah, and we got a picture in front of it with who?
Well, okay, so hold on before we do that.
Okay.
We turn the corner and there's the mural, and you guys, I teared up. I teared up a lot.
That was the highlight and center point of the whole pavilion.
Yeah, like the Ahsoka outfit was there. Chopper was there. So I saw Chopper, and then right behind Chopper was that mural. And I was like, I don't... Star Wars Rebels just makes me so emotional. Why does it make me so emotional? I just really connected to that series.
Because this series really deals with a lot of family and family issues, whereas Clone Wars, it's very broad.
Yeah.
This deals with that very tight ghost crew. Mm-hmm. And it was a fantastic series.
Yeah.
And they had all the lightsabers from Ahsoka. They had 2 of Ahsoka's lightsabers. They had a lot of production art from the show, and you really dig deep into these paintings.
Yeah, it was so cool. Even the Ahsoka lightsabers, they had some like dings to them.
Yeah.
Like you could tell they were battle worn, basically. So yeah, I'm so excited. And Don, thank you for your comments. Chris, thank you for your comments too.
Okay, I'm
go
watching
ahead.
our reel, our
yes,
Instagram reel. We have a breakdown of the whole.
Yeah, we have a Balin Skull lightsaber.
Shin Hati lightsaber.
Yeah.
The shuttle.
Ahsoka ship shuttle model. This is on
showing
Instagram.
Everyone right now who's watching live. There's the Ahsoka shuttle. There's the Lothcat puppet. Oh, look at that.
So cool.
Oh, look at that Lothcat puppet. I love it.
Yeah.
I want to play with that. An Ahsoka maquette. Yeah. And Marok's Inquisitor lightsaber.
You did a really good job. Oh, there's
the mural.
There's a mural. Oh,
and the Sabine's helmet.
Which is a lot darker than you'd expect. Like the colors were darker than I'd expect.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, go to our Instagram and in the reels we have 2 because there's so much stuff there. We had to do it in 2 reels. Mm-hmm. But Marok, who is this? Is this the first time we ever saw or heard of this character?
First I have.
Name?
First I have. I don't know.
Yeah, we've seen him in the trailers.
Okay.
Because he's an Inquisitor with a spinning lightsaber.
Okay.
But I don't know if we've ever seen his name before.
Yeah.
All right, going back to the mural.
Yes.
We got a picture.
Yes. We want to give a big thank you to Melissa Miller, who contacted us and said, hey, Vanessa Marshall is over here by the mural. So we ran over there. Luckily, we were a couple aisles away.
Yeah.
And we met up with Vanessa Marshall, who plays Hera Syndulla, the voice of Hera, and got a picture with her and Melissa right at the mural with Hera right behind us.
Did we post that yet?
Not yet. Melissa just sent the pictures to me. Yeah.
Yeah, so thank you to Melissa for saying, hey, come on over and jump in the picture here with us. And Vanessa's just so sweet.
Yeah.
I think she hugged us like 30 times.
She is very sweet. So it was so nice to see her again after so long too, because it's been since 2019 at least, I would say.
Yeah.
Crazy. Mm-hmm. So that was so much fun. That Lucasfilm Pavilion was amazing. We treated ourselves to 1 present each, right?
Yeah.
For Comic-Con.
All right.
And
I
got so at Rock Love Jewelry. I love Rock Love Jewelry. And their stuff is just so great, and it lasts, and that's my favorite part. So I ended up getting the Indiana Jones Staff of Ra necklace piece. So that it has to come in the mail because it's on pre-order again. But I'm very excited.
Now, when you
about
get
that.
it,
yes.
you got to put it over a flame.
Yes.
Let it get really hot and burn it into your hand.
Okay.
that was too easy.
I want to have a thing like Tote has.
Arnold Tote, that is.
Yes, Arnold Tote.
All right, and I walked around, like, yeah, you know what? There's a lot of really fun, cool stuff here, but at this point, I just have no room for anything anymore. But there was an artist there, a Star Wars artist, a classic Marvel Star Wars artist by the name of Michael Golden.
Michael Golden!
Does that sound familiar?
It sounds familiar to me. Because he did some cover art for Star Wars. Ah, Riders in the Void.
If you've been hearing our classic Marvel Star Wars comics, we talk about this issue repeatedly because this was the issue that Marvel had to throw in at the last minute because they were going to do their Empire Strikes Back adaptation, but we're not ready for it, so let's just throw a standalone issue in there. And a lot of fans were ticked off because they were waiting for Empire, and they got this where it doesn't really match the other Star Wars art, thank goodness.
Yeah. But Michael Golden did sign it for us because he was right there with, we're assuming his wife. We're not sure.
Yeah.
Agent or wife. But yeah, to Sarah and Richard. How cool is that? We got that. And then what else did we get? Because they had some nice...
And they had this. It's one of these buy two, get one free. So it's like, okay, I really like this. I'm not sure what comic it's from, but
yeah,
I really like the old school Luke and Leia.
That's really cool.
But then you wanted...
Yes,
you
this
couldn't
one.
take your eye off of this.
This one caught my eye. I love Hoth Leia. And this is a beautiful rendering. And I loved how it stood out among his other pieces. So we got that one.
We got that one, and he accidentally signed two of them.
Yeah.
So, guess what, Skywalkers?
Oh! Yeah.
The next time we do a trivia match, maybe a Skywalker will be walking home with a son. Where is it? Right there. Right there.
Oh, right there, yeah.
Yeah.
A signed
11
by 16.
Yeah.
There you go.
Okay, so yeah, Skywalkers, we were thinking about you.
Yeah.
Yeah, so Lucky Skywalker will get one of these.
And Don thinks I should use the Staff of Ra prop to make an appliance for my hand. Very nice.
Well, why are you so willing to do that?
I don't know. It just is fun. Because I wanna be in the movies. I like movies.
Okay.
I love them.
Okay. Talk about being in the movies. A nice segue. We saw a lot of cosplayers.
Yes.
Now, what was the most common cosplaying outfit? Ready? 1, 2, 3. Barbie. Lots and lots of Barbie. Tangential conversation here.
Yeah.
We saw Barbie and we loved it.
Oh my God, it was amazing.
It was really good. And so far, one of the best films of the summer.
I would say the best film of the summer.
This and Indiana Jones. Even speaking about movies that are coming up, which...
Oh, yeah.
This is so far surpasses?
Yes. Yes.
All right. So a lot
Haunted Mansion.
yeah. Eddie Murphy. Let's go see. Go watch Eddie Murphy. Okay, what now?
Go see the Barbie movie. Oh, Meredith sending me a photo of Alan from the Barbie movie. Nice. All right.
All right. So yeah, I would say Barbie was the top cosplaying outfit, second only to The Mandalorian.
Ooh, yeah.
I'm sorry, Mandalorian was second only to Barbie. Weren't a whole lot of Kens there.
No.
So
Barbie's more fun.
Yeah, it was Ken and a lot of video game characters that.
Yes.
No idea who they were.
Yes, and Chris. Yes, Michael Cera plays Alan.
Yeah,
yes.
He does a really good job.
Really good job.
Michael Cera is good at playing he's trying to catch up with things, but nothing in his world ever makes sense, and he's trying to make sense of it, and he's just left behind with trying to logic it out.
Yeah.
That's Michael Cera's lot in life. But he does so well.
Yes.
And, okay, any other cosplaying outfit that really stuck out?
No, mostly the Barbie stuff. I wasn't really paying attention to cosplay. I was like looking at things and taking everything in. So this time I wasn't focused on cosplay for some reason. Yeah.
Okay, then we'll move on to Skywalkers.
Yes. Yeah, we met up with many, many Skywalkers. Thank you to those of you who said hello, said hi.
Patty and Rafi, hey.
Yeah.
Came over and said, hey.
I'm sorry, I missed you guys.
And we met up with other Skywalkers. I'm sure my head is not so fuzzy.
Yeah, we just want to say thank you so much. Met up with some San Diego Skywalkers as well. Always goes to the fashion show. So yeah.
Yeah,
awesome.
And met up with some people who are gonna be on the show. We made a lot of contacts.
Yes.
Some actors, so they'll have to wait.
Yes.
But a lot of artists like Michael Golden and his wife/agent, who is an editor on She-Hulk.
Yeah.
They were really excited. And then we met a contact who could get us in touch with Roy Thomas.
Yeah.
Did you hear that? Roy Thomas, who he is the one that brought Star Wars into Marvel, and then Stan Lee said, "Move to the side so I can take all the credit."
Oh.
Yeah, I didn't know he was still alive. Roy Thomas, that is.
Yeah.
So I through Roy Thomas, maybe we can get Joe Duffy.
Yeah.
I think a lot of our upcoming episodes will be based on classic Marvel Star Wars comics.
Which will be fun to catch up.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because, we got to get to these Hoojib episodes, which is way down the line.
Yeah, another 40 episodes. All right, Chris Mason is asking, was Gal
Gadot.
Gadot. Was she there? If she was...
We didn't know. We didn't see her. Yeah.
And Chris also says he'll go next year.
Excellent.
As will we.
Yay.
Oh, right. So... Let's wrap things up by telling everyone about 2 contests where you can win exclusive Star Wars Outlaws key art and concept art posters and a San Diego Comic-Con pin.
Yes, they're on screen right now if you are watching the YouTube version of the show. So on Instagram, you can win the key art poster, which is the main poster and the Comic-Con pin. So head to Instagram by this Sunday. What would that be, the 30th?
The 3rd, July 30th.
Yeah, by this Sunday to enter. You just have to do 3 things like subscribe and
share.
Comment. Yeah, and comment. So there you go.
These are very exclusive and they went very quickly.
Yes, they did. And then also, here's the whole poster itself. So yeah, it's a nice, I think this is also 11 by 17 or 11 by 16.
I didn't have my wooden ruler.
Whatever it happens to be.
I think these are these are a little bit bigger. These are bigger than
are they? Okay.
Those posters
but
I just showed you.
But they're in a poster too.
They're in a poster too. And that was the one consideration. Like, okay, we'll get the posters if they're coming in a poster tube.
Yeah.
And all you had to do was, if you go to Instagram, watch our reels, they have a little video what you can do. You're riding a speeder and there's a virtual screen behind you. You make a little video, you post it on social media, and they give you a poster.
Yeah, it's so cute. And then I do not have the concept art poster right this minute, but...
Well, you want to see it? Go to Instagram.
No, it's on YouTube.
Go to YouTube.
Go to YouTube. Yes, on those videos for Indiana Jones Roundtables, you can get the YouTube poster. And also make sure you subscribe right now and comment on this video if you happen to be there. Make sure you're subscribed and then comment with your Instagram name, and then you will be entered to win the concept art poster and his pin. Yay.
So easy. So Comic-Con 23 once again.
Check.
We'll see you next year. Well, that wraps up episode 426 of Skywalking Through Neverland. We want to thank Comic-Con for letting us do our game show, Disney for the opportunity to speak with the indie crew, and Paramount Plus and for letting us see giving us passes for the Star Trek A Strange New Worlds episode and Hall H panel, yes.
Yeah. And we also want to thank all of you Skywalkers who comment, like, and chat with us. We thank you so much, and share our content around. So thank you so much.
And the new subscribers, we asked everyone at the game show panel, hey, everyone, can you subscribe to our channel? And they did it.
Yeah, so thank you, new subscribers. Yay!
All right, Chris Mason is asking me to read my Splinter of the Mind's Eye.
We did. We had a whole episode on that.
Breaking down Splinter of the Mind's Eye.
A couple months ago.
For sure.
Yeah.
I'll read it. Here's a bedtime story.
Yes.
Now remember, we're going to be at Long Beach Comic-Con on September 2nd and 3rd, which is Labor Day, in Long Beach, California. Finally, hometown, our own backyard.
Yay.
We're going to do our panel. We don't know when yet, but we will have a table where you can get your signed copy of Today in Star Wars History, Part 1 and 2, and Skywalking Through My Fandom.
And are you interested in all of our books? Well, those autographed copies of Today in Star Wars History, Parts 1 and 2, and the Skywalking Through My Fandom, they are available now from skywalkingthroughneverland.com/book.
Now, we want to thank our sponsor once again, Small World Vacations, for their support. Thinking of a trip to a Disney park? Well, you can fill out a Get a Quote form at smallworldvacations.com today. Their vacation planning service is free of charge. So check it out and tell them Skywalking Through Neverland sent you.
Would you like to support Skywalking Through Neverland? Well, you can consider supporting us by becoming part of the Skywalking Force, which is our Patreon. The Skywalking Force has access to bonus content in the form of our Zoom discussions on Disney Plus shows, such as The Mandalorian and Andor, all the way back to WandaVision. You'll also get a coupon code to use for our books. This bonus content begins at only $5 a month. You can head to skywalkingforce.com, have a look at some of the options, and thank you so much to those of you who are already part of the Skywalking Force.
Now, we are part of the Skywalking Network,
Skynet,
where you can find other great shows like Talking Apes,
classic Marvel Star Wars comics,
the Max FX podcast,
the Neverland Clubhouse,
Totally Tell Me Everything,
Star Warsologies,
and the YouTube shows Collectopolis and Today in Star Wars History.
Also want to let you know to make sure you subscribe to Star Warsologies on your podcatcher, because they did like 3 panels over San Diego Comic-Con, all of which will be on their podcast feed in the next several weeks.
All right, now social media. If you want to get a hold of us on Instagram, you want to go over there and win a poster, exclusive poster, which you can put on eBay. I'm not telling you what to do with it. Just look us up at Skywalking Pod for Twitter and Instagram, mainly Instagram, not really Twitter.
And also Threads. We're on Threads now. Actually, not Twitter at all.
Yeah.
I'm kind of done with Twitter. So Threads. I haven't been posting there in a while, but maybe the Instagram stuff goes there. I don't really know how it works.
Can we put Twitter in the Periscope and Meerkat folder?
Please. Trash Twitter. All right. All right. You can also join us on Facebook. We are on Facebook. You can go there, look for Skywalking Through Neverland, join our group, or like our page.
And
always remember to pause before you cough. And
Neverland on Alderaan. Hey, look at those names to the left. They are part of the Skywalking Force, our Patreon.
Become a producer yourself and check out all the Disney Plus themed bonus content available depending on the level you subscribe.
Become a member of the elite Skywalking Force at skywalkingforce.com.